everybody. In this video, let's talk about alternatives to multiple choice questions. In today's world, we have so many different options and choices to create assessments when building an assessment strategy. And I'm going to talk about 5 of those. Scenario-based assessments, case studies, branching assessments, simulations, and finally, AI-powered assessments. Let's start with scenario-based assessments. Scenario-based assessments place your learners in a simulated real-life situation, right? They require them to apply their knowledge, make decisions. And that's why they are a wonderful thing to have in your assessment strategy. They're also very short, so they really are not a big effort to build. Scenario-based assessments are great because your learners come face-to-face with situations that they're likely to encounter, but in manageable bites, right? They're designed to go beyond the theoretical. They require learners not only to recall knowledge, but also apply them and apply in contexts that mirror the real world. So it becomes very important that when you put together a scenario, these scenarios must resonate with learners. They must draw on situations that the learners recognize and understand and can see themselves in, right? So that, they don't look at the scenario as just another academic exercise, but it's actually a sandbox for real life. And that is what makes them pretty useful. A small scenario will have a linear path. There will be a situation. You will ask learners to respond to the situation. You will give them the right answer, and then you move on. Let me give you an example. This is from a module that we created for our healthcare client. Every single employee and contractor for them would have taken this course. So there were a number of different learner personas. So we created 4 different scenarios where, the potential learners could see themselves in, and they could select a few scenarios and go through them. Now, as you click on one of them, let's take anesthesia. You get a little bit of context around around her. You get a little bit of information around her and her situation, and then you're asked to make a decision. And based on the decision, you'll get a feedback, right? And that sort of, I can see the situation happening to me if I was in anesthesia's position and role. And it builds empathy, it builds practice, it builds a little bit of application. Those are scenarios for you. Now let's see case studies. Case studies are a great way to build assessments. They will present learners with a comprehensive situation to analyze. They will challenge them to apply theoretical knowledge to real-world contexts, but very holistically, right? Typically, when we think of case studies, we think of this big MBA folder with lots of situations and days of hard work to go through, but it doesn't have to be like that. However, they are hallmark of contextual learning. They take learners deep into situations and they mirror true professional challenges, right? So a typically good written case study, well-written case study will have a narrative that requires analysis, critical thought, decision-making, right? The goal of using case studies is to provide a holistic understanding of the subject matter. You are immersing students in a situation that requires them to consider various factors, various perspectives. So it's not just a little piece of knowledge or application. It is that holistic information and situation. The purpose of a case study is not only to find the right answer. It's about exploring different strategies and their potential outcomes and then coming to a decision. So they can be very, very versatile. Let me show you an example. This was a module we made for our clients. The learners were paralegals, people who are studying to be a paralegal, and they needed to understand what's a tort law and how to apply that. The case studies, it was incremental. So you learn a little bit, you make a decision, then you learn a little bit, then you make a decision, and so on. By the end of the module, you would have gone through a whole case. So in this, it starts with a prospective client calling you, telling you about her situation. And as the paralegal, you are then making decisions, right? You make a choice, you could make a wrong choice, you could make a right choice. You will get feedback based on that. As you pick something, right? You get some information, you move on. And as you move on from step one, step two, you get some more information. And as you go through this case study with number of different factors, you learn the complexities of the case. So it was a great way to culminate all their study on tort law with one how does this look in the action sort of module. That is an example of case study for you. Let's talk about branching assessments as a way to build alternative to multiple choice questions. One of my favorite ways to create assessments, because here every decision a learner makes leads to a different pathway. So branching assessments are great to provide a personalized adaptive learning experience. They stand out for their ability to mimic the unpredictability and the multitude of choices that are present in real world situations. A well made branching assessment is a thing of beauty. They empower learners by placing them at the heart of a decision making matrix, right? And they branch out in different paths based on their choices. They're designed to adjust according to your learner's choices. They each decision made by the learner becomes a learning moment. And you could have immediate feedback, you could get delayed feedback, you could get cumulative feedback. It's so much fun to build a branching scenario. As you can see, I really do like them. This approach places emphasis on the importance of relevance and context in learning. You're immersing learners in situations that are real life, but even the consequences are very real life like. And then one consequence can lead to a completely different pathway down the road. I'll give you an example here. Because a lot of people think that a branching scenario has to look very complex. It doesn't have to. In this case, we are teaching peer mentors, students who are working as mentors to the other students, how to maintain boundaries, right? So on the, left-hand side, on the mobile, you're seeing how the student mentees might approach a mentor, and you teach the mentors how to respond. Now, based on how they respond, the branching takes them in a different place. So let's say the mentees ask, hey, can I add you on social media? So the first question that you saw was rather innocent, innocuous. I was asking you, oh, I'm thinking about dropping some courses. What should I do? These are more policy sort of questions. Of course, you can answer. But now the next question's moving into a personal boundary. And what do you do? And then as you start making decisions there, you might find that at the end, you don't even have a choice, right? You've started being pally with your mentees, you're sitting together, you're having social interactions together. They're going to ask you for help, and you really are not going to have much choice. So there's not even a second choice here. You have to give them the material to complete their assignment, right? So you see how wrong choices have led you to a path that you might not want to go. And then we give cumulative feedback at the end. And I love how this says your decisions have led you to commit academic dishonesty, right? You have established unhealthy boundaries throughout your interactions. And those are interactions that were part of our branching exercise. And then follow the below guidelines and try again, right? So this really drives home the fact that you made those decisions. That's why the branching scenario took you wherever it took you to. So great example of how you can use branching in your assessments to give a very real feeling to your learners. Let's talk about simulations. Simulations are a powerful, powerful tool. They create this immersive, lifelike environment where learners can practice their skills in a controlled, risk-free setting, right? They are, they are the hallmark of experiential learning. They enable learners to immerse themselves and and practice their skills hands-on, whether they are soft skills, whether they are technical skills, whether it's system training, whether it's leadership training. The feeling that you get is very tangible, very dynamic, right? It's You could think about a customer service simulation that allows learners to navigate complex customer interactions. You could think about a software simulation uh, where you're going through the screens, the various screens and steps to complete a task. They offer the distinct advantage of risk-free experimentation, right? I could fail, I could learn, I could go back before in the sandbox of experiments before I try my hand on a real life thing. It becomes like a learning laboratory, right? You can iterate, you can adapt, and ultimately master the skills that you need to be successful in professional environment. The example I have here for you is an award-winning course where we're teaching drivers how to inspect a vehicle that they're going to borrow from their employer. So this has some 3D animations because they need to kind of open the hood, look inside the hood. As they click on each part of the engine thing, they go through different things. They see, oh, what might be an issue, then they have to select that. The whole thing is a simulation. One thing you would notice is that the schematic here, the diagram, is just a simplified expression of how a real car engine would look. And that is on purpose. Because it's a simulation, we are simplifying at first level the look and feel. We're making it easier for our learners to learn and adapt and understand before they open a real car's hood and see way more pieces and parts in there and get overwhelmed. If they can master this piece, then we'll take them to the next level. This is an example of a simulation. AI-powered assessments are emerging as a transformative approach. This AI integration in e-learning allows us to adapt in real time to a learner's performance and build uber personalized pathways, right? Uber personalized feedback based on what your learner is doing in real time. The AI can respond to it and build feedbacks and grading and whatnot. It can be adaptive, it can be responsive, and there's a number of different ways you can use once you understand how to integrate ChatGPT within your e-learning experience. I'm going to show you just one example of this, but if you want to see more examples, go to this link, bit.ly/AI_demo, sign up, and I'll send you a bunch of examples. This one is a role play example I have for you, where, let me play this, you could create a role play where, you're practicing interview simulation. You're practicing interview simulation in this case for an articulate storyline developer. So we allow the learner to write their answer the way they would speak in an interview. So they're saying anything. The AI responds back based on how they're writing. So the learner says, I'm doing well, thanks, how are you? The AI responds to it and says, okay, tell me about your experience. And then the learner answers something. Well, I have done this and this and this. This is my experience. The AI can follow up, answer more questions. And depending on what the learner wrote, the follow-up question is going to be different, right? Because the AI is reading what the learner is answering and then asking the follow-up question based on that. And this conversation can keep on going for as long as you want, because you are building practice and you're building competency and you're building confidence throughout this. And so you see, for the first couple of questions, I had my answers ready. But when I came here, I was like, the AI asked me a completely different question. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to think about how I'm answering this. So it's asking me about how I approach quality assurance and testing for my storyline projects. So I give it some answer. It responds to that, right? And at the end of it, this is my favorite piece, is you can get feedback, right? As you go through the whole experience, and then you say, okay, how did I do? And AI switches roles and provides feedback on the summary, on your vocabulary, perhaps gives you ideas. And this is, as we were talking, this is the purpose of a good assessment. Is not only see where you stand today, but also how you can improve and what are the things that you can do better at. There can be so many different ways to implement this. There could be a rubric, there could be a document that the AI is pulling from, doesn't have to be generic. But this is one of the examples. If you're interested in more, send me a note or go to that link and sign up, and I'm happy to show more examples. There are more videos on our YouTube channel about it as well. So there you go. 5 powerful ways of building your assessments beyond just multiple choice questions. Using one of these assessments, you could actually create a dynamic, a diverse learning experience for the learners and really take the quality of your work many notches higher. Let me know how it goes for you.